So finally, after seeing all 40 entries for this year's competition, which one do I think is the creme de la month for 2022? And which ones do I think is nul point? Let's find out in part 1. Roll titles. Good morning, afternoon, or even everybody! I am Jamie Jew and welcome back to a brand new video where today, in this particular video, I'm going to be, well, effectively part 1 of 4 will be my official list of the top 40 entries for this year's Eurovision Song Contest. Yes, this is my now personal thoughts on, what I personally like and dislike, and more to the point, who's going to go where in 28, 14, 19, and of course which ones will end up with the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 points, all the way up to the 12 points itself. In other words, here is my personal top 40 for this year's Eurovision Song Contest. Is back on for this because I've got to read stuff. But yes, in part 1, i.e. in this particular video here, I will be going through the list of 40 to 31, i.e. the countries that I either don't particularly like so much or I don't think are going to get as much fanfare from my own personal standpoint compared to others. What I basically think is just less amount of je ne sais quoi about it. It was, I'm not going to lie, as always a tough list to conduct, but finally after sort of seeping through all of them and listening to all of them again properly and actually enjoying quite a few more than I thought I was expecting, I'm not going to lie. But that is like par for the course as far as that is concerned. But of course I should disclaim very quickly at the start, this is a list which can chop and change every now and again, especially like the middle part of it all. In which particular countries will go where in the middle part listing at the very least. Whether it's at the top or not is, I don't think so, but that being said, it depends on what my mood swings are. And in fact, music is subjective after all. Everything is fair game as far as music is concerned. But before I dive into it, as always, I would encourage you guys to subscribe to my Eurovision YouTube channel because I'll be making more Eurovision juicy goodness all the way up until the main event itself. And of course, if you very much like to, you can check out my initial reactions to all 40 songs, which are just over there in the annotations on the top right of your screen there. Otherwise, let's get on with part 1 for my top 40 Eurovision entries. And we are kicking off at number 40, which, this kind of needs no introduction, considering the amount of times I will truly admit, distaste this song in particular. A few reasons in particular being the corniness of it all, the cliche manner of it all, but also primarily the sameness, the buy-on, just absolute Mickey take almost of just cliche stuff that has happened in the past we've all come to like, but this is so far backwards it just almost takes the mick out of the subject matter itself because it's so corny and cliche. Unsurprisingly, at 40 it's Malta, which is such a bloody shame because the original one that they released of, Out of Sight I think it was called, I actually didn't mind that. It wasn't a bad entry. I think that would have probably been like 20 years in the 20s or something, or maybe just squeezing the top 20. But then to come out with this corny crap is just ridiculous. In fact, every time I think of it, I'm just sort of going, like, God, it just drives me insane. But good news is that is the only song this year where I have an actual pet peeve on. I'm sorry, Malta, but I really do. And please, can you just please stop doing it, okay? We don't want to hear this anymore. We want new material, well, relatively new material, alright? We don't mind the old cliche of good stuff now and then, as long as it works well and everything, but this doesn't. Anyway, rant over. Literally rant over. Coming up now are kind of the countries which are forgettable in terms of their particular songs. So, first off, in terms of the literally, like, I've forgotten what that song's all about list, at 39 is Montenegro, which is harsh, I will admit. It's because it is not a bad number whatsoever, but, and it is a little tiny bit catches in places, but even then I sort of like, oh, what was it all about? I just did not remember it whatsoever, which is a bit harsh, but it is what it is. The same also applies to 38, which is similar in terms of Malta, in terms of its past clichéness, but at least it's stuff that we are familiar with and did like beforehand. So on this occasion, compared to Malta, I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt, but it's a number 38, which is Azerbaijan. And I do feel sorry for Azerbaijan because they have gone so far downhill, actually, over the last few years. And they haven't really produced like anything concrete that could sort of drive you to vote for it or anything. And I do think this year they are going to qualify. I do fear that. Which actually, if you think about it, is only the second time they didn't ever qualify. But that's just my thought. And also, it's just not really riveting for me. Now, the next few lots are songs which I do know of, but they're just better ones. It's all it literally is just better ones. But that being said, I do find like number 37, as I already mentioned in my previous video, particularly weird, and that is Slovenia. I could get the disco elements of it, and it is a lot more different compared to what the other tracks are this year. But do we need something like that? I don't know. Everything just felt a bit mishmashy to me, especially with their outfits that they chose, the disco element in the background, and the type of people playing, like the cool teacher thing going on from the keyboard player. I don't know. It just felt a little bit weird. Number 36. Well, again, this will sound a bit harsh because when you hear it like normally, it's quite alright. But yeah, just the look of them just seems it just seemed a bit out of place but by comparison to the stage performance of what they look like, etc., to the actual song itself, which is Iceland. Again, another harsh one, I think, but I think that's fair as far as I'm concerned because, of course, there are other countries I do find better. Sorry. And I suppose the same could be said also for number 35, which is Georgia. I think we all, like, sort of intrigued in its mysteriousness, but if you take away the visual elements, even this one's a little bit like... It's a bit annoying after a little while, especially when it goes... That just got me annoyed a little bit, but I listened to it a few more times afterwards and didn't mind it so much, especially with Lummy and all the rest of it. But even so, just didn't tickle my fancies. This next one, at number 34, I like, of course, the genre of it, but the fact that they went ballady to begin with and transitioned into rock was just a little bit unusual, and that's Denmark. I just find this not as riveting as others as things stand, and yeah, I suppose if it came on the night, they probably wouldn't be as bad, but I don't know, just comparison of others at the moment. I just don't feel like I'd vote for it at all, which is a bit of a shame. With number 33, I think this is also another harsh one because the song is actually not too bad, and also he performs it brilliantly. But again, it's another comparison of others, which is Israel at 33. It's just not engaging for me, and it's nothing against the artist himself, or Michael Ben David, or the song itself. It just doesn't feel as an engaging song as comparison to others. Don't get me wrong, I think he will absolutely slay his performance, and he's a very good singer, but yeah, this is just not riveting for me, I'm sorry. And the same applies to number 32, Romania. It's the same thing, like, it just isn't riveting me as much, and I don't know why I'm putting them in the same bracket as others. Maybe it's not my type of a genre of music or style of music and stuff like that, but I do like the fact that Romania have gone back to the roots. For me, though, if this is a personal choice, don't forget, Romania's style of music is just not my sort of thing. If in another year it could be higher on the list, maybe this is... I do think maybe Romania is the harshest of them all, but that's just how I feel. And finally, completing the list of 40 to 31 is at 31, of course. But yeah, this one took me by surprise in the fact that I just didn't feel riveted by it, even though it's a style of rock genre, which is a surprise, which is Bulgaria. Yeah, I did like it to begin with, obviously, first initially, when I was like... But when you listen to it more and more, it just doesn't pick up. Doesn't pick up anywhere, and it is disappointing for Bulgaria's sake, but... yeah, it's just sad. It is sad, but that's how I feel. And there it is on your right hand side of the screen of my full list of countries going from 40 to 31. Again, my personal choice. If you don't like it, then so what? You know what I mean? Just agree to disagree. That's all I will simply say. If your favourites in here that I think is at 40 to 31, then I do apologise for not maybe ranking it higher. aside from Malta, because I make no apologies with that whatsoever. But that about does it for this particular video, for part 1 of my top 40 list. But never mind what I think, please do let me know what you think in the comments below. Is your favourite particular, as I already mentioned, is your favourite there that I thought was not so good? And yeah, please do let me know, because I would love to hear what you think of these particular entries, and whether you agree with me or disagree with me. I would love to know your thoughts, and I would love to have a little chat with you. You know, I always reply to these particular comments and love them, depending. There you go. Otherwise, let me know in the comments below. Thank you very much indeed. Otherwise, as always, hopefully, smash the like button if you did like this video. Again, if. Subscribe for more if you fancy to do so, for more of my Eurovision juicy goodness. That'd be fantastic to grab your support. And of course, ring the bell to get notified about my latest videos if you're already subscribed. Catch you again in the next one. Bye bye, everybody. Bye bye. Part 2 coming. Bye.